Can I do that?
Yeah.
Okay, this is good. All right. The first thing you want to do before you go stuffing your nipple into a pipe, oh, come on, is you actually have to draw a line. Don't post that on YouTube. Okay, you got to draw a line around it, and the best way to do that is to wrap a piece of paper around this thing. Okay? Because
so you're wrapping the nipple?
the paper is always going to come out square because the edge is cut straight. This is how, by the way, you mark like giant pieces of sewer pipe if you don't have the fancy thing that cuts it. You just mark it and then you cut it with a regular saw. But if you're going to cut like a lot of CPVC, like you're like redoing the pipes in a house or something, you want to get the little cutter thing. Anyway, you make a little mark like that. It's not in the center, but that's not a problem. And then what you do is you got to fold about a little scant half sheet of paper. You got to fold it exactly like this. So watch very carefully. Are you watching? You must pay the rent. I can't pay the rent. You must pay the rent. I can't pay the rent. I'll pay the rent. My curses spoiled again. You're very hard to wake up. Do you know this? I stomped on a thing. I lit a firecracker.
And you still slept.
I didn't let Adam wake you up.
I was going to wake you up.
Okay, then what you do is you take a bit of elastic, and the size of elastic will determine how sensitive your accelerometer is to acceleration. So the thin elastic makes it super sensitive. The thick ones are going to be good for like the Screaming Eagle, where you can measure like 5 Gs. Okay, so then what you want to do is you just want to sort of flatten this thing out and make it so that you can, as they say in the business, stuff it inside your nipple. And
Come on, guys.
here we go. Okay. If you can think of a better way to attach a piece of elastic to the middle or a piece of galvanized pipe, feel free to improvise, but this is what we've come up with over the years. Be careful. Sometimes the nipples are actually sharp, and so you can cut yourself, especially when you're doing what I'm doing.
The nipples are
I've got
dangerous.
sandpaper, so if you do sand off the rough spots, be sure you use the blower, and also got a blower that'll sort of degrit them. You can see there's a fine science of this. Let's pretend that I've got that one. Okay. I should have used less paper. You know, some paper's thicker than other. Come on, baby. At the end of the day, I will win. Okay, now, this thing is like nuclear wedged in there. If yours is not quite so, oh, there we go. If yours is not quite so wedged in there, one of the things you want to do is pull on the elastic, kind of pull it out so you feel that knot engage. And this is why an overhand, just a simple right over left knot is better than like actually tying a square knot or something. Just want to pull on it. You don't want to break the elastic, but you want to make sure there's not like little bits that loosen up on you at the park and change your calibration. And then you do what you always do with a paper clip. Straighten it out. Okay. What percent of paper clips are you for clipping paper, and what percent are for
MacGyvering.
Anyway, what you do is if you just take one of these giant ones, cut it roughly in half, what I'm making is a little thing for the cord to go over that centers it. So I make a V, kind of a V like that, a wide V, and hold it like this. And then I like to trim off like you make an M like that. I like to trim off the legs of the M, make it very stylized. And that way the little bits don't stick over very far. If they're long, you can cut yourself on. To be sad. I'm just going to tape that guy on here. And this doesn't have to be a nuclear tape job. And then put this guy in the middle. Whoops. IQ on the line. And then when you put it in there, it's going to go over that little thing, and that centers it. Now you kind of want to tape this pretty tight. So I start here, and then every time I go across that elastic, I pull really tight. Around, pull really tight. That's the cool thing about electrical tape, is you can really stretch it. it'll tighten on there. And then the last time you go around, here's a trick with electrical tape, the last time you go around, don't stretch it. And that'll prevent the infamous electrical tape oozing that it does. It's better to cut it at the end there too. I'm just in a hurry. So. And then I'm going to take this other guy, I'm going to make another little V type thing, like that. And stick this guy back here. And make the letter M, cut off the legs.
Why would Chandy wear ring finger? Which one is your ring finger?
And now it's like IQ on the line. Sometimes the elastic doesn't stick out, so you gotta like
Whichever one's
use a
not right.
tool to get it to. Sometimes, whoa, quick. This is kind of like a test of my
I actually have no idea. It's not on the right.
dexterity. Can I do all these things at once? Yes, I can. Stretch it around, stretch it. I think 3 times is probably enough around. Stretch it super tight. And then once around, nice and easy. And then I would cut these off. There's your basic working accelerometer. You can tighten it by reefing on these elastic bands, right? If you look at this thing, if I take, but basically we're going to lay a piece of masking tape along there, and I'm going to hold it up on end. The amount that it goes down like that is 1 G, and you're just going to make a mark that far down, and then you're going to, twice that distance would be 2 Gs, 3 times would be 3 Gs. This is really sensitive, so it's probably going to get like 2 Gs out of it, or so this is for like really low G rides. If you use the thick elastic, this thing is only moving about 3/8/16 of an inch when you turn it on end. So this would be good for like a screaming eagle. As a group, every group in here can make 2 of these. You could make one with the thick elastic, one with the thin elastic, and then you'd be all set. Yeah? Okay. And then you can, you're going to make these on Thursday. I would just take them with you, but you can also store them in here. I just make sure you put your name on them prominently. I like to close up the ends so foreign material doesn't get into them. Seems like a good thing to do. But, and then between not this time and next time, go to the physics website. You guys know which rides you have, yes, as a group? Okay? Go to the physics website and go to Oaks Park. Right? Then go to video analysis. Right? And if you scroll down, if you go to the video analysis website off of Oaks Park, if you scroll down, there's a whole section where I talk about ideas for the rides. Okay, so it's like 4 minutes for some of them. I put all the formulas that you might use. I show what kind of analysis you might use. Some of them I even bust out some analysis. I got the video and I show you the analysis. Yeah.